Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to Fiaura. And welcome to Yakking. So, in this episode of Yakking, after this first replay, we're going to be cutting to something rather boring and technical, and that's this YouTube red stuff. But before we do that, I have some other things to talk about. So the interview with Jupiter Broadcasting just kind of fell through. I sent 2 emails to them this week and filled out another contact form trying to get in touch with them, and I couldn't get a response. I'm guessing that whatever I sent to them fell through the cracks or went into the spam folder. At least I hope that's the case, instead of them actually just getting back to me and telling me they changed their mind. But hopefully I hear from them this week or something, because I was really, really hyped up about that. It's a women's tech radio show, by the way, and that's what made it really interesting to me, and I really wanted to get involved in it, but I mean, if it takes as long as it did last time, when I first contacted them, I was at 1,080 subscribers. I'm now at 1,465. If pattern serves, then I will be at 2,000 before they get back to me, and we might be past Christmas by then. Let's hope that pattern doesn't serve. But anyway, you guys may have noticed that there was only one collab this week, and again, I'm spending more time with my girlfriend and doing stuff with her. We played a lot of Vermintide this week together. We sat and just cuddled and watched YouTube videos. It's not the most romantic thing in the world to some people, but it's just nice to have each other. And I have been the calmest, most sincere person all week, as illustrated by my live stream, in which we only counted me actually saying a curse word 4 times. That's you guys counting them. I wasn't counting them. You guys were keeping up with it, and at the end of the day, I owed the United Way an extra $4. Which, I have good news. The United Way has been paid by Google through my Google transaction account, and we raised a total of $103 for charity. Almost double what we raised for charity last time. Give yourselves a pat on the back, every one of you. Particularly those of you who donated. You guys are awesome, amazing people, and thank you for making this possible. The next charity live stream is scheduled for November, I believe the week before Thanksgiving, which is November 18th is the next one. So we're going to try to raise money for Meals on Wheels on November the 18th. And if we are successful in doing so, then I will be donating what we raise to them. Which, I gotta say, it's really awesome and nice of you guys. And we're going to be talking a little bit about money and YouTube in this video, because now I've got some reference data, and when we get to the YouTube red thing, you're going to understand my pain. So, what am I talking about when I talk about reference data? Well, at this point, I might have to up the fan funding requirements to get your hidden bonuses, because we've met them 4 times in a row. We've met them 2 weeks straight with live streams. So I'm looking at it and considering that I might raise it by a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean the initial goal by $5 and the big goal by $5 more. So an overall $10 increase to the big goal from 30 to 40, and the little goal from 25 to 30. Not a huge radical increase, but it's just to see. And if you guys make it 2 weeks in a row, I might up it again. And it's going to be little bitty increases. It's not going to be huge increases. And so long as you guys keep making it, I do have a hard cap that I have in mind down the road. But thank you guys. I mean, you made me cry on the live stream with United Way, and that was kind of awesome. And the Google rep was very, very, very good about getting stuff. Wow, that's a nice fire to have happen right there. But the Google rep was very pleasant, and it did take about an hour and a half of work, and she had to call her manager, and he or she, I wasn't sure because it's a chat, and I just had a last name to go by. Did have to call their manager over to finish it up and get the special transaction made, but it's a one-time special transaction, so the next charity live stream, I'm either gonna have to wait until Google sends the check, or I'm gonna have to already have the money on hand to do the donation afterwards. So we'll figure it out. Which, as this match ties up, we're about to get into the YouTube Red stuff. And this is going to be a very long, detailed explanation of how this works and how it is absolutely screwing your content creators. So, YouTube Red. YouTube Red. I'm about to go onto monitor capture and show you guys what I have been doing for calculating. Okay, so YouTube Red is the pay for service month that you pay $10 a month in order to have an ad-free content, which you could normally use ad block for. However, that should be there. Here's what happens when you use YouTube Red. So Google automatically, now I'm going to explain this in the small scale, and then we're going to go to the large scale. And you guys are going to see how much this is affecting your content creators in small scale versus large scale. And the reason we're going to do the small scale first is because this is what you see on the surface. And then I'm going to show you what you're going to see after a month. But bear in mind, this first trial month, the content creators are getting nothing. Google has already issued a statement that for this trial month from October 28th through November 28th, the content creators are flat out getting zero for YouTube Red. Google's keeping it all. Of course, that's for operating expenses and whatever else they want to label, but basically, it's a giant screw you to all the content creators, which sucks. It just sucks. But moving on. So the way this works is based on watch units. Well, watch units are basically the number of minutes that you watch YouTube. So Google takes their 45% out the gate. So $9.99 automatically gets reduced to by $4.50. That goes to Google. Google keeps all that. However, the rest of the money, the $5.49, is going to be split up among your content creators based on how much you watched them. You see that this is going to get to be a very tiny pool for the content creators. I mean, this is going to get really tiny. So we're going to start with, and this is for a single subscription. This assumes your one subscription. So this first table is assuming that you only watched YouTube one day this month, and this is what you watched on that one day. You watched my channel for 45 minutes, you watched Markiplier's channel for 60 minutes, you watched PewDiePie's channel for 80 minutes, you watched Jingles for 20 minutes, you went and watched a random channel trailer, and you watched some random videos by other creators. So now we've narrowed it down, and that means you watched 224 minutes of YouTube this month. Potential to pay that gets split to all the creators is $5.49. That means for your little bitty pool of minutes, assuming you only watched this one day, every minute is worth 2 cents. 2.45 cents. There's a catch here, and you guys are going to see the catch. So, here is the division between all the creators when I take this number, these numbers, so the way I derive this, by the way, is I take 549 divided by 224 to figure out how much each minute is worth, and then I multiply that figure, i.e. this right here, times the number of minutes watched to find out total pay. Now here's the interesting part. Anything less than 1 cent, Google keeps. Doesn't go to the creators. And you think, well, it's less than a cent. How much could it possibly matter? Well, for your one subscription, in this case, it's not all that much. It's literally less than 2 cents. But this is on the small scale. So my channel for your 45 minutes, assuming this is all you watched all month, made $1.10. Markiplier made $1.47. PewDiePie made $2.15. Jingles made about 50 cents. The random trailer got 2 cents. The first random video got 17 cents, and the last random video got 7 cents. Google got an extra cent and a half they get to keep. And now we get into the difference. So on the small scale, this looks good for YouTubers, because if you just watch the ad or click the ad, there's the averages that people make when you click an ad or when you watch an ad. That's the averages. So I put up 2 videos a day. I would get 8 cents or 25 cents if somebody clicked one. Markiplier puts up 2 videos a day, about the same thing. Oh no. And, you know, that's how it works. This is the small scale, though. When we get into the larger scale, this is where things start to suck. So, this assumes, that is totally wrong, that you watched YouTube every day this month. I apologize, guys. I did this, and then I was so shocked and angry that there were a couple typos, but for the most part, I made sure the math was right. So, assuming you watched all of these videos over the course of a month. So I have my channel, Markiplier, PewDiePie, Jingles, 19 random trailers, 17 random videos, and Team 4-Star, who only puts out 1 YouTube video a month for their parody series. This is what they make on YouTube Red. I would make $1.12. Markiplier makes $1.50. PewDiePie makes $2.20. Jingles makes half a buck. The random trailers got nothing. The random vids you watched got nothing. Their total pay comes to so little that Google isn't going to pay them. They're going to keep it. Team 4-Star, who put a boatload of effort into their parody series, would receive $0 from YouTube Red if a YouTube Red customer watched 1 video a month, watched their 1 video they put out every month. They get nothing. Google actually receives $4.67. Now you see these figures and you go, but these random trailers and random vids should get money. And I go, you're right. Except for there's 17 random videos, which 17 into 14 cents is less than a cent. They all get 0. There's 19 random trailers. 19 into a cent and a half is less than a cent. They all get 0. Google keeps it all. So this is just waste that Google gets to keep. Now we get into the ad experience. If you are actually watching the ads. If you are actually watching the ads, this should be... So my channel would get $4.80. Markiplier would get $4.80. PewDiePie would get $10.80. Jingles would get $1.04. Each of those videos gets 4 cents. Each of those trailers gets 4 cents right here. And Team 4-Star gets 4 cents. Google gets $8.19. So Google is still kind of winning, but at the same time, the content creators aren't getting absolutely screwed. And some of you might be going, you're so greedy. No, I'm not. Let me finish, and I will explain to you how this really hurts your content. Now, if you're clicking on the ads, and you click on every ad in every one of my videos at about a quarter a video, then I get about 15 bucks. Markiplier gets about 15 bucks. PewDiePie gets $22.50. Jingles gets $6.50. These random trailers and random vids get a quarter each, and the Team 4-Star gets a quarter, for a total of, and Google gets $56. And if you're using ad block, here's something that's kind of dirty in Google's contract, by the way, with the advertisers. The content creators get nothing. Google gets $8.19 if you're using ad block anyway. They get paid for the ads whether you use ad block or not. We don't. So the only thing you're doing if you're using an ad blocker, by the way, and I don't mean to harp on this, and I don't mean to get on your case, and I get ads are annoying, but it's how YouTube creators do stuff like pay their rent. For me right now, this pays my groceries and pays my car insurance. Period. And it's working its way to the point that I won't have to work my other job. And as soon as that happens, I will be so much happier, and you guys won't believe it, but I won't believe it when that day comes. But Google still gets paid by the advertisers whether the ads play or not, because they're supposed to play, even though your ad blocker stopped them. But since your ad blocker stopped them, the content creators are the ones that get screwed. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this as nicely as possible. If you use ad block, please whitelist it for YouTube across the board. Whether you're watching my videos, Jim Sterling, Markiplier, I'm just going down my list. I'm not actually subscribed to PewDiePie, but I get it. He's the quote biggest YouTuber in the world, so I figured I would go do the math for the biggest one, and then all the kind of small ranges in between, from my tiny channel to Markiplier's big channel to Jingle's medium large channel to Team 4 Stars 1 video a month to how random videos worked. I figured I'd do a little bit of everything so you guys could see how it all works out and decide for yourselves. But at the end of the day, YouTube Red screws anybody who's not over 100,000 subscribers. It's absolutely going to screw us. It really particularly screws anybody who doesn't have a super avid fan base who watch every single video they do. So you guys are paying for the experience. Google's getting most of the money. The content creators are getting to fight over what's left. And all you're doing is you're paying for an experience that you wouldn't have to pay for normally, except for the fact that you have to watch ads. I get they're annoying. I get they get on your nerves. But it's how Google creators and YouTube creators pay their rent. I'm not greedy. I would like to pay my rent. I would like to be able to go to grad school and be able to pay my rent and groceries and my car insurance and my electric bill and only have to work one job to do it. And I would love for it to be this job because I really genuinely enjoy this job. But if you're using AdBlock, you're just screwing the content creators. Google's still getting paid. And if you're signing up for YouTube Red, the only thing I can tell you to do is pick your favorite content. If you're really stuck on using YouTube Red, pick your favorite content creators and go to the fan funding page and drop some money. Because otherwise, I mean, we're getting shafted. You're talking a fourth or less of what we would normally get from you watching our videos, and that's abysmal. I hate to be the super bearer of bad news, but that's how it works. I've read over the contract that they sent us. I've read over all the news articles and everything I could find about YouTube Red. Google is keeping so much of it hush-hush and secretive, it's not even funny. But this is as much exposure as I could possibly get about it and how to calculate how we would get paid. And this is from the Google rep. Now, there are some other factors that factor into here. These numbers are not exact. And those other factors are only detriments to us. So, stuff like the length of the video you actually watched affects how much actually gets sent to us. So if you skip the intro and you skip the outro that we build for our videos, we get less money from YouTube Red because our percentage of watch time is lower. But this is the hard numbers for the maximum amount of money that we could receive for each YouTube Red subscription, assuming you watched every one of our videos every day. This is what your content creators would expect to receive versus what they currently receive with you watching their ads. Is it really worth that, guys? Is it really worth the $10 that you guys are going to have to pay when you're going to cost your content creators? I mean, we do the math right here. You're costing your content creators $20, $30, $40 a month if you have just these few subscriptions. Imagine what, I have 67 YouTube subscriptions. I watch most of these videos because I don't really have another form of media-based entertainment. I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in years. If I subscribe to YouTube Red, I would probably be screwing the content creators out of about $100 a month combined. And Google's still getting their money either way. That's not cool. And if you're using AdBlock, again, whitelist YouTube. I know they're annoying. I know they get on your nerves. They get on my nerves. But I also know that since I can't donate to the fan funding or the Patreon of every single YouTube personality that I watch, if I click on that ad, I have paid that person some money and made their life a little easier. And it took me 5 seconds of my life. So yeah, that's the breakdown of YouTube Red. Again, we're not getting paid anything for this month for it. Flat out, Google has told us this first trial month, we get zilch. And if I were you guys, I wouldn't sign up for this. Because it's the one, Google's making its money, period. The people it's screwing is the people who are making the videos. And that's not right or fair. So I would flat out not even, I wouldn't even do it. I would drop your YouTube Red subscription right now, and I would write Google a nasty letter about how they're screwing content creators. But in the meantime, guys, let's move on and let's talk about something a bit more positive, shall we? Alright guys, so something positive. My league team is officially assembled as of tonight. We did have to remove one person because of lack of attendance, and I told him if he missed another night, I couldn't keep him. He's missed 11 out of 19 practices. That's... Actually, to come to think about it, I shouldn't even be apologetic for this. 11 out of 19 practices, most of which were without any notice. That would get you fired from anything that I know of. So yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna name names or anything, but we've already put a replacement. We've had a short list of people in case we needed a replacement, and we've got one of those people practicing right now while I'm talking. I'm actually doing this video so I can spend time with my girlfriend, which means I'm now tied for least number of practices missed at 2 out of 19. But everything looks awesome. Everything's coming together, and I gotta say, I'm pretty damn happy with how it's turned out so far. We'll see what happens in the qualifier. Smooth is an excellent battle caller, by the way. We found our ace in the hole. I'm just the secondary battle caller, and that's only because I kind of know what I'm doing. What else do we have to talk about? Armored Warfare's upcoming patch and the release of Tier 9 tanks. They're already putting in the Tier 9 tanks. But the system they're putting in to unlock the Tier 9 tanks, that's the best system I've ever heard of for unlocking high tier vehicles. I was shocked at this. This is a revolutionarily unique and awesome idea. For those who don't know, this is what they're doing. So they're issuing what they call the Tier 9 token. And what this is for trees that end in Tier 8 and the trees that end in Tier 7. On your tank tree, after you've gotten a proven status, which means the vehicle is fully upgraded, which, by the way, stock vehicles are still good vehicles. Just the upgrades make it even better. But once you have that, you can start earning XP towards your token. And once you've bought the token and you have completed any Tier 8 vehicle all the way through to max XP. So you unlock the token on the vehicle, and then you can spend the XP freely, by the way. And once you've maxed out the XP bar, for those who don't know, there's an XP bar that just counts your overall XP. You don't have to specifically unlock the vehicle; it just unlocks automatically when you've done enough, which is kind of nice. And then you can convert. And then also in this next patch, they're doing something really cool with XP conversion. But anyway, you buy the Tier 9 token, and then you pick any Tier 9 vehicle in that dealer to spend your token on to say, I want this one. You don't have to go straight down the Pacific tree. You can play the tanks you like and then unlock the Tier 9s you want. Obsidian, yay. Flat out, yay. It means that I can go play my Leopard 2A5 and I can go play my Ramka 99 to death and use those to unlock 2 Tier 9 vehicles I want without having to go, say, play the C1 Arate to get the Challenger too. Because I don't like the C1 Arate personally. I didn't like it in early access. I probably won't like it when I get it. But I can go play my Leopard 2 and Ramka 99 and unlock it. Yay. Sold. You win. You got me. I'm all for this. This is by far one of the best. This is the best vehicle unlock system I've ever seen. I have nothing else to say about it but praises. The next thing they're doing is they're allowing us to convert XP off of maxed out vehicles. So once you've maxed out the vehicle and bought all of the extras, any remaining experience can be converted once the next vehicle is unlocked. So instead of locking out that XP now, so you end up with like 7,500 on the Leopard 1, for instance, that you can't convert because it has to stay there in order to keep the OF40 unlocked. Once you've unlocked the OF40, you can convert that 7,500 to free XP. Basically making it where you can play whatever vehicle you want and go unlock whatever you want to play in the game. This could not be a more player-oriented system if they tried. This is... Armored Warfare really has done a complete... Well, they came in and I had really high hopes and expectations. They started screwing it up for a little bit, and then they did a complete 180. And I want to see Obsidian succeed to the point they start an esports league, because I will totally have a team down in a week. I will have a team right there and be like, we're ready to go. Who are we going to fight? Because Armored Warfare right now is turning into the superior game compared to World of Tanks. And that moves me into what's going on with World of Tanks. So they're testing a new artillery system that basically mimics Armored Warfare's artillery system. Verbatim. Mimics Armored Warfare's artillery system. Why weren't you testing this when we were still doing early access and closed alpha, and we were able to put up videos to show you the artillery system worked better in Armored Warfare? Why weren't you doing this then, Wargaming? Are you trying to play a Blizzard, only you're being slow about it? Because Blizzard, the reason Blizzard has kept World of Warcraft on top for so long is if you look at World of Warcraft today, and you go look at it at the first expansion, they're two different games. And it's because Blizzard basically has gone to every single MMO that's come out that's supposedly been a WoW killer and gone through the trouble of making all of the changes to World of Warcraft that the WoW killer had hoped to use to kill WoW. That's how they stay on top. They basically copy their competition. And from the looks of things, Wargaming's going to be doing the same thing. Alright, let's get another replay going, shall we? But anyway, if you're going to blatantly copy... I am over here now. If you're going to blatantly copy Armored Warfare mechanics, you probably should have done it before it went open beta and everybody could see it. And I probably would have been moving a lot faster. You guys moved too slow. And your latest issues with your emblems and suddenly switching League to Tier 10 without giving anybody any advanced notice on the second one has ticked off a lot of players. For the 5th weekend in a row since Armored Warfare debuted, I have not seen 30,000 players at any time on the North American server for World of Tanks. It just hasn't happened on the weekend. It just hasn't happened. They're all off playing Armored Warfare. I asked for replays for World of Tanks, and I did get some replays. I got quite a few, but my normal amount of replays has slowed down considerably, and the reason being, they're all off playing Armored Warfare. I mean, it should be inferred by the number of teams that are signed up for the Gold League right now that actually are formed teams for the league. It should be noticed right now that we weren't ready for this. I think we're down something like 15 complete teams, and there's only 4 days left to sign up compared to the last time they did a qualifier, because nobody was ready. So many people immediately who were ready had to go find brand new teams because their teams have been practicing Tier 8 for the last 3 months. While you guys have been doing playoffs and testing, and nobody expected you to do this. On top of the emblems thing, for those who don't know, World of Tanks had this proposal, and it was in the 9.0 10 patch for a little bit on the test server, that they were going to make emblems and inscriptions have effects on your crew and make World of Tanks even more pay to win. These two things have cost Wargaming probably a couple thousand customers in 2 weeks, and are continuing to cost Wargaming customers for World of Tanks, which, I hate to say it, is gonna really affect League down the road, because next season we might not be seeing a bigger prize pool. We might be seeing a smaller one, because people are leaving. People aren't paying for World of Tanks. You can't support an electronic sports league if you don't have the paying customers to support it. Yeah. It makes me sad. It really does. But World of Warships and World of Tanks are not only developed by two different teams, but they're on two different pages altogether. For a start, I've been having loads of fun on my Soviet destroyer. It feels balanced. It feels like a very good gunboat. It's not better than the Clemson or the Nicholas class destroyer in terms of being a gunboat, but if you maneuver it and play it right, it is lethal as all get out. And it's a lot of fun. But where World of Tanks dev team and World of Warships dev team are on two different pages is when it comes to the system for which you're paying for stuff. So the Imperial Nikolai, the upcoming Soviet battleship, which by the way is already on the RU server, and I'm going to get to why that's a bad thing that it's already on the server and available for purchase, is on the RU server and available for purchase for $8 USD. $8. That's it. That's what it equates to. Now, I don't know if that's going to be our price, but it probably is going to be close to that price. It's a Tier 4 battleship. It's a solid battleship. It hits like a truck. It has some maneuverability. It's a little slow, but it does have decent range guns. It won't outrange a Japanese battleship. It won't out-accuracy the Warspite. And it won't flat out damage a Wyoming, but overall it's a very solid ship. And its really unique thing is that it has no real superstructure to speak of, so the guns can almost point in a... there's only about 15 degrees in front and 15 degrees directly behind that all four of your big turrets can't be pointed at the same time. And it has a massive secondary. A massive secondary. So, there you go. But it's $8 USD. There's no port slot with it. There's no boatload of additional signals with it. There's no load of gold with it. It's just there. That's what we want! I don't know why the World of Tanks team can't get it through their head that's why their ancient weapons had the lowest running sales of any temporary for sale World of Tanks sale ever. Sucks to be that battleship. It's because that's what we just wanted to buy the tank, or we just wanted to buy, in this case, we just want to buy the ship. We don't want all that stuff with it. We don't want to have to pay for all that stuff. And Wargaming's World of Warships dev team seems to have gotten that through their heads. And so is Obsidian's dev team. Because they're still going with the everything's bought for gold. The only thing you have to purchase is gold, and you don't have to purchase garage slots routine. If they keep this up, I fully expect Armored Warfare to be able to support and Obsidian to be looking at running a electronic sports league this time next year. If not, by January of 2017, they will have an esports league, and they'll be able to support it and run it, because their business model is very solid, and it's working, and they're doing it right by their player base first. World of Warships is almost doing it right by their player base. Now here's my gripe. All the polishing and everything is coming in the next patch. Awesome. We need that. I need the optimization. Obsidian, get your head in the game. We need optimization, not new tanks. We need optimization. I need to be able to run this on a Windows X. I need to be able to run Armored Warfare on a Windows XP computer. Let's face it. I need to be able to run Armored Warfare with the same minimum spec requirements of Fallout 4. Because Bethesda looked at their player base and said, this is about what they're going to have. This is what we should probably shoot for. And they've done it. Obsidian, please look at that model. Look at what really needs to be fixed here. I'm tired of overclocking my computer just so I can record Armored Warfare. I'm sick of it. I don't want to run my machine ragged to stream your game. And I know there's a lot of people who don't even have the machine I do and can't play Armored Warfare altogether because their machine is not good enough. And you're losing customers because of that. It's a free-to-play game. You really need to make sure that a customer base who can spend $5 or $6 a month on a video game are part of your audience. You need to make sure these people can play your game, and that means you need to make sure that your game can run on a machine that has 8 gigabytes of RAM, runs Windows XP, has about a 3 gigahertz processor, and has like a GTX 540 Ti with a standard hard drive. And that machine I just named made some of you cringe. Back in the day, I was playing World of Tanks on that machine, so you can imagine how well it would try to run Armored Warfare right now if it was only getting 27 frames per second on World of Tanks, and sometimes slowing down to as much as 12 frames a second. Yeah, that machine needs to be able to run Armored Warfare and run it in a fun, engaging manner. It's got to happen. So, while you guys are releasing the Tier 9s, which I'm praising you for the system you came up with for how to unlock them, and I'm imagining the Tier 10s are going to be the same way, except for you have to have the Tier 9 token you have to have the token from the Tier 9 vehicle to use for the Tier 10. You guys have got to get your optimization together soon. It's got to happen. So, in summary, as this World of Warships battle winds down, things I wanted to go over. YouTube Red, while it is an attempt to get people who use ad blockers to be able to give content creators something, has been implemented in a very poor manner, and it's going to cost content creators thousands of dollars. And it's like, you know, it's going to cost, I want to say thousands of dollars, I mean it's going to cost like, it's going to cost me about $50 a month probably, and I'm not going to be able to pay my car insurance off YouTube anymore. It's going to cost Jingles enough that he might have to tighten his belt and he'll actually lose weight because he won't be spending as much money on food, or luxury food anyway. It's going to cost Markiplier probably not as much because he's huge. But smaller channels like mine, where I've begun to rely on this for the groceries, it's going to cost me a lot of money. It's just flat out going to run. And ad blockers have been costing me money this whole time. Which, you know, if I were you guys, if you really do love and respect your content creators, whitelist YouTube, just the entire website, from ad blockers. Just let the ads play. I know it's annoying. I know it gets on your nerves. But if you like and respect your guys, and I know I might lose some subscribers for this, and I might keep some of you for speaking up for myself. If you really love your content creators, you'll take the ad blocker down, because we lose money and Google still gets paid. And YouTube Red is just another way that Google's still going to get paid, and it's a way to try to get people who use ad blocker to give us something. But at the end of the day, it's just going to cost us. It's going to cost all of us. And there are people with bigger channels than me where they pay their rent with YouTube, and suddenly they're not going to be able to pay their rent. So, Wargaming, get your World of Tanks and your World of Warships team on the same page. Seriously, that needs to be a thing. This is the summary, by the way. Armored Warfare, optimize, 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 optimize. My girlfriend has a state-of-the-art gaming laptop from last year. It won't run your game. At least it won't run it at a good enough frame rate for her to have fun. It runs it, but it runs it at like 21 frames. You can imagine how hard it is to play Armored Warfare at 21 frames a second. And that's about it, guys. So this is Yakking for this week. I will see you guys next week. Remember, this weekend, I will not be replying to comments. Go ahead and leave them, and I'll reply to all of them when I can Monday night. But this weekend I'm going to Nekocon, so all the videos that go up are going to be pre-scheduled, and therefore I won't be here to actually, you know, look at them. But yeah, I hate to say it, but YouTube Red is, no, it's not a good thing for creators. And I look tired and I look exhausted, and I know it. So if you did like this video, please hit the like and share button. If you didn't like this video, then go ahead and hit this like button and tell me why you didn't like it, so that I can improve the video. If you want to see more stuff by Fiaura, hit the subscribe button. If you want to leave a comment or question or whatever you would like to say, I will reply to it. I always do. If you would like to support the channel, you can go to the Patreon page and donate $1, or you can click on the ad at the end of the video. Those are two primary ways of supporting it. The other thing you can do now is you can go to the main channel page, and there's a blue button on the right side that says fan funding. Click on it if you want to just do a one-time donation. That would be awesome. That's also how all my live streams support me. And if you would like, I'm sorry we talked about money so much in this episode, but there's been a lot of talk of that, and I know it's the end of the year, and that's what happens. It's the end of the year, and everybody's looking at their yearly bottom line. So this is what happens at the end of the year. And if you would like to see the previous Yakking video, it's right there. In the meantime, this is Fiaura, officially signing out for right now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.